So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, looking specifically at renewed electronics. And our case study today is a perfect example. This Dell Optiplex 7050 SFF Desktop PC. It's listed as excellent condition, renewed. Have you ever been scrolling online, late at night maybe, and seen a deal for a piece of tech that just makes your eyes widen? Like a really powerful computer at a price that seems, almost impossible.
Oh, yeah. That magnetic pull of a great bargain.
Exactly. And you immediately think, okay, is this too good to be true? That's the allure, isn't it? The promise of getting something great without that hefty price tag. But how do we really know?
It's a common dilemma, definitely. The market's just full of these tempting options. And yeah, sometimes a deal can hide, let's just say complications. Figuring that out is key.
That's precisely the challenge. That tension between, wow, great price, and that little voice asking, so what's the catch on Amazon? Our mission really is to unpack what renewed actually means, what you can realistically expect if you click buy, and whether it's actually a smart purchase for your needs. We need to balance those tempting specs with the real world stuff, customer reviews, protection plans, all that.
Exactly. And we're pulling all our insights directly from the sources you found, the Amazon product listing itself, the specs, the Amazon renewed program details, those protection plans you mentioned, and maybe most importantly, the voices of, thousands of customers?
Over 3,900, yeah. They're unfiltered experiences.
It's about getting that full picture, warts and all.
Okay, so let's unpack this first bit.
Yeah.
When we see renewed on Amazon, my first thought is often just used. Is there a clear difference? What should we expect?
That's a really good question because it is more than just, whiting it down. Amazon renewed specifically means the product has been inspected, tested, and refurbished as necessary to be fully functional.
Okay, functional.
Yeah. It's a promise of quality, basically. There's professional inspection, testing, cleaning, refurbishment, and it's done by Amazon qualified suppliers. So it's definitely a step above just a random used item you might find elsewhere.
And something I hadn't really thought much about beyond just saving cash is the environmental side. The listing mentions it extends the lifetime of this product and reduces electronic waste. Is that something Amazon actively promotes?
It's certainly a significant environmental plus. While the main draw for most people is probably the lower price, the program does inherently help with sustainability.
Yeah.
Keeps perfectly good electronics working longer, out of landfills.
Right.
And when you get one of these renewed products, Amazon says you should expect accessories equivalent to those that shipped when new. Now, they might not be the original Dell keyboard or whatever.
Okay, compatible, but maybe not branded.
Exactly. Compatible and fully functional. And the packaging, it'll either be the original box or just a new clean cardboard box. Plus, your purchase gets Amazon renewed coverage alongside Amazon's regular return policy and their A to Z guarantee. So there are layers of protection there.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's zoom in on this specific Dell Optiplex 7050 SFF, small form factor. What makes this particular machine interesting, at least on paper?
Well, spec-wise, it's pretty solid for a renewed machine at this price point. It's got an Intel i7 7700 processor that's got 4 cores.
So it's Gen i7, okay.
Yep. Base clock speed is 3.60 gigahertz, but it can turbo boost up to 4.2 gigahertz, so still quite capable. And it comes with a hefty 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM.
32 gigs, wow. That's a lot for multitasking.
It is. And a fast 1 TB SSD, a solid state drive. That means boot up times, opening apps. It all feels much snappier than an old spinning hard drive. And like you said, it's small form factor, SFF, so it's compact, doesn't take up much desk space.
And connectivity-wise, it doesn't sound too stripped down. It lists built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, HDMI, DisplayPort, USB 3.0, even Type-C.
And gigabit Ethernet, too, for a wired connection.
Right. Plus, it supports dual monitors at 4K resolution. That's 3840 by 2160 pixels.
Oh.
Comes with Windows 10 Pro already installed. And they throw in a USB keyboard and mouse, a USB Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth adapter.
Oh,
and a 30-day trial of Microsoft Office. Seems pretty complete out of the box.
Yeah, it really does cover the basics and then some. All of that listed at $186.97. They show that as an 11% saving from a typical price around $211.
Okay.
And maybe telling, it's listed as the #1 bestseller in tower computers on Amazon with over 500 bought just last month. So clearly popular.
Okay, so those specs, that price, the bestseller status, it all sounds incredibly tempting. But here's where it gets interesting, right? The real world. What's the actual experience like when people get these home? The overall rating is 3.8 out of 5 stars. That's from, like we said, almost 4,000 ratings. But 3.8, it tells you there's more to the story.
Absolutely. That average hides the variation. When you dig in, you see, 57% gave it 5 stars, another 13% gave it 4 stars. So that's, 70% generally positive.
Pretty good.
But, and this is the crucial part, 19% gave it just 1 star. Nearly 1 in 5 people had a really bad experience. That kind of split tells you it's not universally great or terrible. Its value really depends on your needs and maybe your tolerance for potential issues.
Okay, let's start with the good stuff then. What are people loving? Value seems big. Lots of comments like good quality for budget price, excellent value. Someone said it saved their budget.
Definitely the value proposition. And speed comes up a lot too. People saying it's very fast, incredibly fast boot up time, just efficient for everyday stuff. And kind of surprisingly for integrated graphics.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned running an emulator at 260 FPS, which, for graphics built into the CPU, not a separate card, that's pretty impressive.
It's 260 frames per second? On integrated. Seriously, I would not have expected that. That's the kind of pleasant surprise that makes a budget buy feel like a real win.
How about setup? Seems easy. Described as seamless, effortless. Windows 10 Pro apparently installs smoothly. People are finding it's a solid addition as a secondary PC or a very good starter PC. And many mentioned it arrived looking clean, well-maintained, despite being renewed.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, and that gaming thing we touched on. Another review specifically mentioned playing Fortnite, on performance mode, obviously, but with dual monitors running, YouTube, Discord, and GPT open at the same time.
All at once?
All at once. No external upgrades. They called it impressive for integrated graphics. So for lighter gaming, maybe casual stuff, it might actually punch above its weight.
Okay, so we've heard the highlights, the pleasant surprises. But like any good deep dive, we got to look at the other side. What are the consistent complaints, the pain points?
Right. And there's a big one, Wi-Fi connectivity. It comes up again and again. People report significant connectivity issues. They point out the Wi-Fi is not internal. It uses that USB dongle they include.
The dongle.
And many call that dongle horrible. It says it disconnects all the time. Some literally said disconnects every 5 minutes. I mean, for most people today, that's a potential deal breaker right there.
Oof, yeah. Unreliable internet is incredibly frustrating. What else? Durability seems to be a mixed bag too.
It does. You see some reports of units that crashed 30 minutes later, or the hard drive fails within 3 months. One person even mentioned a dead pixel on the screen. That's kind of the risk you take sometimes, that too good to be true scenario playing out.
Yeah, exactly.
And related to that, just the overall quality perception varies wildly. Some say nice condition, others call it very poor, or even junk. And another key thing for listeners to know, that 7th gen Intel CPU, it doesn't officially support an upgrade to Windows 11.
Oh, good point. So you're stuck with Windows 10 Pro unless you find unofficial workarounds, which isn't ideal.
Right. And finally, despite those positive gaming stories, others caution about limitations. One said it's not able to handle more than light texture pack mods for Minecraft, explicitly because it lacks a dedicated graphics card. And it's not really built for easy, heavy gaming modifications. So managing expectations there is important.
So real mix then. Some potential wins, but also some significant potential headaches, especially that Wi-Fi dongle.
Exactly. Which brings us to mitigating those risks. If you do decide to go for it, what safety nets are there? Amazon offers various protection plans through Assyrian.
Right, the add-on warranty things.
Yeah.
What do those typically cover for a renewed desktop like this?
They seem pretty comprehensive, actually. There's a 2-year plan for about $22 and a 3-year plan for around $29, specifically for desktops. These cover accidental damage drops, spills, broken bits, and also breakdowns. What's interesting is malfunctions are covered after any included manufacturer's warranty runs out. But power surge protection starts from day one. They promise 2047 support and an easy claims process repair, replace, or an Amazon e-gift card. Sounds fairly straightforward.
And isn't there also like a monthly plan? I think I saw something called Complete Protect.
Yeah, that's a different beast. It's $16.99 a month, but it covers all your eligible Amazon purchases, past and future, within the last year and going forward, up to $5,000 in claims per year.
Wow, okay. That's broader coverage.
It is, but note it excludes commercial or business use, and you can't get it if you're buying multiple items in one order, so different use cases.
So protection plans offer one way to handle potential issues. But what about being proactive? You mentioned the Wi-Fi dongle is bad. Can you fix that? Surprisingly, some users found ways to upgrade this little SFF machine.
Yeah, that was interesting. Even in a small form factor box, there's apparently a bit of wiggle room. What did people find they could do?
Well, one customer review pointed out there's a free PCIe port inside. That's an expansion slot.
Right, on the motherboard.
Exactly. And they suggested you could use that to add a proper internal Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card, get rid of the annoying dongle altogether.
Smart. That would solve the biggest complaint right there.
Totally. Or you could use that slot, or maybe another connection, to add an additional SSD for even more speed or storage. And maybe the most ambitious, you could potentially swap the integrated graphics for a dedicated low-profile graphics card. Something budget-friendly, but still way more powerful.
Now, that could really change the machine's capabilities, especially for gaming or creative work.
For sure. But they did add the crucial reminder. It's an SFF machine. So you're limited to upgrades that are only for SFF. You can't just cram a giant power-hungry graphics card in there. You need parts specifically designed for these smaller cases.
Good caveat. But still, having any upgrade path in such a budget, renewed machine is a nice bonus.
Definitely. So, okay, let's wrap this up. We've seen how these renewed products like this Dell Optiplex, they really do offer a tempting package. Strong specs for the money, potentially lower e-waste.
But the real-world experience isn't always smooth sailing. That Wi-Fi issue is a big one. Durability can be a concern. It really highlights why you need to look past the flashy specs on the product page.
Absolutely. It's not always perfect out of the box.
Yep.
But it's also good to know there are options, those protection plans for peace of mind, and even some potential DIY upgrades to fix common problems or boost performance if you're comfortable doing that.
Right. The goal of this deep dive, really, was to give you, the listener, that more nuanced picture, to go beyond the marketing copy and see what thousands of actual users experienced, the good, the bad, and the fixable.
So, thinking about all this, the question for you is, what stands out most about balancing those cost savings with the potential hidden issues when you're looking at refurbished or renewed tech? And how might that change how you approach your next purchase decision?